You're welcome to the Talk Time segment on TVC Breakfast. Now, it was no doubt a disappointing outing for Nigeria at the World Athletics Championship in China. Expectations and hopes were dashed as the center just did not hold for Team Nigeria. Attention will now shift to the All-Africa Games, where Nigeria can possibly make amends. Nigeria's hopes of winning a medal in the individual events were dashed as Blessing Okagbare, who seemed to be the only Nigerian making us proud, failed to show up for the women's 200 meters of the ongoing IAAF World Athletics Championship. Now, this greatly highlights Nigeria's need for more participation in athletics to avoid a repeat of the nation's performance in China. With me in the studio to discuss this is a sports journalist. Shola Rogers is with newfanzone.com. Thank you for your time on the news. Now, first of all, what's your immediate reaction to the performance of Team Nigeria again at the IAAF?
Honestly, I wasn't really expecting much. I might sound like a voice of dissent, but I wasn't really expecting much based on the kind of preparation that we had leading up to the World Championships. And this has happened year in, year out. We always make the same mistakes, you know. We always have what they call the fire brigade approach. People forget that the fire brigade are not called on until there's an accident somewhere. So we need to move away from that. So I wasn't really expecting much, to be honest with you.
And really, how did you feel when Blessing Okagbare finished last in the 100 meters of the women's final, and then not even showing up for 200 meters?
I actually think that there's too much pressure on Blessing to deliver the hopes of over 150 million Nigerians. Everybody have put their hopes on Blessing Okagbare. We're thinking, because she did well at the Commonwealth Games, you know, doing things that we've not done in a long time. But the same thing happened at the Olympics, because everybody was expecting Blessing, you know, to come out guns blazing, and she finished in the 8th position. Same thing has happened here at the World Championships. And we need to take a look at it. Why do we always want to put all our pressure on Blessing Okagbare? Is she the only Nigerian athlete that can win medals? Certainly not. But Blessing on her own has done well. She's trained well. She's done well at the Diamond League. You know, she's been winning a couple of races, but it just didn't work well for her.
Yeah, and to think that she was compared to be the one to go against Anne Fraser-Price of Jamaica, and then for her to even finish last, or first from the rear, as it were. What can you say is the problem with her? Yes, apart from the burden of carrying the hopes of so many Nigerians on her shoulder, is it about psychology? Because we've talked about, I spoke with some of my colleagues yesterday, some sports journalists about it as well. Is it about psychology? Because when I watched the 100 meters final, it seemed to me that somehow her thoughts were in so many places at the time. She was under serious pressure.
I could also read from the body language that, you know, every athlete wants to deliver. And let's really cut her some slack. She actually made it into the finals regardless of the kind of preparation that she had. You know, it's not a big deal, which it's a bit for her to always get there, but I think it is, because if you take a look at the fact that a whole lot of people put in their names to go and compete at that level, and she actually made it into the finals. But like I said earlier, and like you also pointed out, it looked like she was carrying too much pressure on her. Maybe the weight of that pressure got to her. You know, I would have wanted to really talk to her one-on-one to find out what actually happened. But I will still cut her slack to say she's done her best. And that's why Nigeria really needs to move beyond this craze of wanting one athlete to deliver on all of these things, when there's so much talent in this country and we do not even know how to harness the talent, to nurture the talent to that level. Now,
did Nigeria even put enough in Blessing in the first place to expect a lot from her?
That's a very good question, actually. And I want to say no, because we all know that she's had a lot of support from her home state. That is something that people cannot dispute, the fact that the Delta State Sports Council, the Delta State government, they've really done a lot for Blessing Okagbare. The average athlete requires a lot of support. They always ask for what they call training grants. The reason why is that you can't keep staying on your own in one corner of Lagos or Kaduna or Warri and thinking that you can just go to the world stage and win. So what you need to do is to have a plan. You need your own personal trainer. You need a good nutritionists to work with, because these days...
Even a psychologist, and that is one thing Nigeria is not getting right.
We're not getting that aspect right, even in all our sports. Even with the so-called popular one, football, we're not really getting it right. I want to agree with you on that one. But if we could build a proper team, you know, that would support our athletes. So any athlete that you pick up from the streets, from the schools, or whatever open tournaments that you put together must be able to key into a system that is structured in a way that you say, okay, you have your trainings twice a day, this is what to eat, this is what not to eat. Our athletes get into trouble for even drinking local drinks.
Indeed.
Because some of the substances
under the doping
honestly,
drugs.
you know, so all of these things will culminate into us not doing well. So we've not really done well by our athletes. That's the truth. I want to cut all of them some slack. We work with them as a sports journalist. You meet these guys out there on the streets. You're not impressed. They use their own funds. They use their own funds to get to training, to buy their own equipment, to do everything. Then suddenly when there's a tournament, Nigeria just picks them up and puts them in camp for 2 weeks, or maximum, the best they've had in recent times is to be in camp for 6 weeks and all of that. While the people that you're going to compete against started a 4-year plan 4 years ago, 2 years ago. The Australian Olympic Committee started camping for Rio 2006, 3.5 years ago.
Indeed.
We've not started plans for Rio. We're still looking at the All-African Games.
Jamaica has been preparing as ever.
Years ago.
Preparing
That's
as
where
ever.
it is.
Even South Africa. Oh,
I was in touch with one of our athletes that had done us proud. He's a boxer actually, but he told me that when they were in camp for a particular Commonwealth Games, they met some foreign athletes. They took them abroad. They met some foreign athletes, and they were really happy to meet with them. Those guys were actually planning for the next Commonwealth Games. The ones that they met where they went to train in Europe were preparing for the next Commonwealth Games. Not the ones that they were going to go in a few weeks' time. Do you get what I'm saying? So we don't get it right. We don't have long-term goals. It seems to be like what we just want to do is compete, you know. Then at the end of the day, and we can't keep doing that because Nigeria has got talent. That's why Nigerians who go out of Nigeria always excel. You find Christian Horogu doing very well for the UK. You go to Canada, you go to Spain, you go to all these places. They're Nigerians, you know. Some are Nigerians just by name, though. But hey, if you are done well and you put your structures in place, these guys will be running for us.
Indeed, indeed. And it seems that, like even Blessing Okagbare at a point had to even move out of Nigeria to get good training.
The truth of the matter is that when you get to a certain level, when you become an elite athlete, you do not stay back in Nigeria. Virtually all our top athletes live in the USA. That's where they live. Some of them are in school. They're on scholarship. So the school will train them, you know, which takes a little weight off our own federation. So when it's time to compete, we always call on them to come. The ones that are not in school, who are professional athletes, also join clubs and they have coaches abroad and all of that. So yes, virtually every top athlete wants to go to where the facilities are. That is one of the biggest problems that we have in Nigeria. You see, we have structures. We have the National Stadium in Abuja, world-class structures. We have the National Stadium in Surulere, Lagos here. Fantastic structures when you look at them from the outside. But when you come in, you find out that the tartan tracks are terrible. Now, this is what is really killing our sports. Apart from administration, maintenance is not so good.
And that is why I want to ask really that what opportunity or what is even the hope of an aspiring athlete in Nigeria that sees all this, and yet somehow the Athletics Federation expects these people to perform very well. Is it even possible?
There is hope, actually, and I also want to give them a little bit of kudos, but also when you need to knock them, let's knock them so that they can get it right. You know, when you criticize people, you must also prefer solutions. Now, let's take a look at the Olympics, for instance. Nigeria has won a total of 23 medals ever since we started going to the Olympics. Of the 23, athletics has provided 13. We must have been doing something right. You know, the Chioma Ajumas of the world. Chioma Ajuma was the first person to get an individual gold medal.
Long jump.
Did I just say first? She's the only person.
Indeed.
The only other gold medal that we got was from football, team sports, and for the 4x400 meters relay team. So basically, you start to wonder, what were they doing right then?
1996 Atlanta Olympics relay was very good for Nigeria.
It was a good time for us. Mary got us and Farila got us. You know, we had bronze medals here and there. and all of that. So what were they doing right then? One of the things that we need to bring back are all the school sports events, you know, because at the secondary school level, you need to start harnessing this talent. I won't say kudos to Lagos State government because they already put those structures in place. We have our own mini Olympics in Nigeria, and sadly, after Eco 2012, the other host states have not been able to host. Where are you going to get the talent from, you know? So what we need to do is to go back to the basics. People keep saying something about the drawing board, and that drawing board is full. And I say, yes, I agree with you.
Old.
But yes, it is, you know. So, but what we need to do is just to get back to the basics. Let's look at school sports. Let's look at it at the secondary school level, at the university level. Let's look at open league, open tournaments. Then one idea that we must really key into is to create leagues. Create leagues in boxing, in tennis, in athletics. Let's have a Surulere league. Let's have an Ikeja league. Let's have a Kano league where you can throw it open to people and people will come.
Well, you know
and you
how
can
Nigerians are already, if they know they can't make money from this thing, it's going to be a drag really for you to get the big wigs to buy into it. Look at Nigeria's MPFL. Not until now is the Nigerian league doing this good that Nigerians are now even interested in watching the local league. Before it was one drag, even when they had a major sponsor, because it wasn't just attractive. And yes, you talked about having, you know, building talent and all. Recall that definitely the gold medalist we talked about, Chioma Ajunwa, who won gold medal in long jump, is still a police officer. And she was a police officer at that time, knowing that, of course, she had a profession, yet she competed for Nigeria. For you to know that you can get talent everywhere, and that can only be harnessed or discovered, as it were, if they put all these things in place, like you've said. But what is the commitment you think will be gotten? Because we know that, like Dangote is saying he wants to buy Arsenal Football Club. They've told him to buy a local league. He says no. And that is the kind of issue Nigeria is having. The big ones that have the money, not looking to promote the local things.
Let's be very fair on Dangote, Aliko Dangote. He's a businessman. People do not see the business aspect of it. If he buys into a club like Arsenal, the truth of the matter is that he's going to make his money back. He's not going there as a philanthropist to throw money about. There's money to be made in that league at that stage. Every time they go out, they get paid, you know. They go on training tours, they get paid for it. You know, their preseason is money. They're selling souvenirs and they're selling all of that.
So why would a rich person now want to have a local
I'm saying
league,
I don't have
even
a problem.
in athletics?
I don't have a problem with him wanting to do that. But I'm also saying that we must be able to go and pick our own products and polish them back, you know. It's like gold. After a while, it starts to get dull. It doesn't lose value because you've not used it, but it gets dull because it's been kept somewhere. So what you do is pick it up and dust it up. We have gold in Nigeria. Our league, I'm happy that you noticed that there are improvements in the Nigerian professional league. Now the MPFL is doing very well. The fans are coming back to the stadium. But you need to ask yourself, what really happened? You know, the rot set in. What happened? The win at all mentality. Every club that hosts a game must win. And what do? If you play better than them and you do not win, then you're going to go back home and wait for them to come and do the same thing to them. So it was a whole terrible vicious circle. And what was that? What was the trickle-down effect is that even the players weren't playing well anymore because they knew that, oh, we'll win now no matter what happens. So what happens? Corporate bodies will pull out. You don't want to be a part of a charade. Then you throw money. It's like throwing money down the drain. But guess what? I'm happy that the NFF looked at it and created the league management company. Now, the league management company started as a committee, became a company, and they looked at all the issues with the league. Every single bit of criticism that they had faced, they tackled it. Security at the venues, very important. Officiating was terrible. Now it is fantastic. At some point, we had only 5 away wins in an entire season.
Almost every week.
Every week there's an away win. Kano Pillars have gone 12 years and 44 days. Now they've lost at home.
Indeed.
They were invisible for 12 years and 44 days at home. That's massive. So you start to think, why were we not thinking like that before? But let's move away from that. The beauty of it is that we're forward looking. So I'm saying that we can have a trickle down. We need to take a look at what's going on. Athletics had a lot of tournaments before. You know, they had the Mobile Open, they had this, they had that. We need to get back to that. And I won't blame any corporate body that pulls out. You know, because when you're sponsoring an event, some treat it as CSR. Okay, let's give back to our community. But also, what are you getting back in return? That's the truth. No business is going to throw money at you for the sake of it. So, an Aliko Dangote will not just look at it and say, oh, because I'm a Nigerian and I have money to throw around, let me just give them. No, you must be able to package something that makes sense. Make him understand that it's going to get mileage. Make him understand that you have products that people can key into. You know, so all of these things will happen across board, you know. And a few weeks ago, Sunday Olisa was taken to the floor of the stock exchange to ring the closing bell. It shows you that, yes, now things are really getting better. And in a few months' time, I would love to see a Nigerian club quoted on the floor of the stock market, of the stock exchange, which basically means that Nigerians can own a piece of it. Because another problem that we have is funding. And the bulk of the funding in sports comes from government. Now, government has been treating sports as some political thing, a political tool, not seeing that sports is actually big business. You know, if you go and look at the budget for Formula One in a year, some African countries don't even have that for the entire country. It's really that big. You know, so we need to start keying into that. It is business.
No, but do you think it's going to be better really this time around, especially now that President Muhammadu Buhari is saying that he even wants Nigeria to start winning medals in swimming, meaning that athletics could get proper attention?
I'm happy that the president made that statement, and a lot of people looked at it. I was with a couple of colleagues at the stadium when we heard the news, and people looked at it from different angles. But guess what? Virtually every president we've had, I've only sat back and listened to what they've been fed with. Football, football, football. Oh, if you sponsor football, Nigerians will be unified. They're going to like it. No, but don't get it wrong. You're talking 150 million Nigerians. How many people are you going to reach that way? Football will give you only one medal at any given time.
Swimming gives
32.
Australia
there are
lots
32 medals gold. So if you multiply it by 3, it gives you 96 medals that are on parade that you can tap into. You know, so you've mentioned South Africa. You look at South Africa, you look at Egypt, and you wonder why these two countries keep winning the All-African Games. It's because they work towards it. They have a deliberate plan. Now, Nigeria has what some of these other countries don't have. We have talent, you know. So what we need to do is to structure our sports.
People, they swim.
Yeah,
condition very fast. If you can,
I think
I've heard many people say that.
People keep saying that, but I don't even want to care. You see, swimming is not only about being able to float in water. It's about being able to move. You know, to compete at that level. There are different disciplines in swimming, so it's not basically even about the Ilaje people. Sure, you get. They have the Argungu Festival up north. Now people swim up north too. So it's not really about Ilaje or Ijo or anything. It's really about creating that structure. Now, if you take a look at ministerial appointments in recent years, and this has nothing to do with party leanings or anything, we just want to look at it holistically. You have doctors being chosen as ministers of health. You have lawyers who will man the Ministry of Justice, who has been in sports. You have people coming from water, resources, and all sorts of places. Now, I don't have a problem with that. Problem that I have is, what knowledge of sports do they have? Virtually every Nigerian sports minister has to come and learn about sports. Before you know it, 2 years is gone. We've wasted 2 years. Meanwhile, what we need is what we have now. The current government at the federal level is talking about cutting down on expenses. So what they need to do is cut down on ministries, right? And they'll be saving a lot of money. But you see, the structure in sports does not require a minister anymore. They have the National Sports Commission, the NSC. They have the DG there, who actually was a former athlete, who is very intelligent. Keep that structure. So you don't need a minister of sports. What you have is the National Sports Commission. Directly to the presidency, you know. So with the National Sports Commission, they already have their regional offices. They have their liaison officers across Nigeria. there's a structure. Empower them, you know, restructure them. Then go and fix our facilities. Then let's go back to what we used to do, you know. Let's go back to allowing merit to rule. One of the biggest problems that sports has is the fact that, I don't know, it's a Nigerian parlance. They say, man, no man. You know, that guy is my guy. Just select him. But if we can select and really forget federal character, I'm sorry, I hope we are allowed to say that. Some teams at times are chosen, and you look at it and say, you're going to wonder, like, why is this guy in the team?
Just the balance.
It shouldn't be like that. We had a team that went to represent Nigeria, and under 17 team that did very well. There was nobody from the Southwest in that team.
Yeah, still
the team did well.
Champions.
You know, so that's the way. That's the way it should be. You know, so let's put aside all these sentiments. If we really want to excel, I don't see America saying that guy is from New York. We don't want him in our team.
White. They're always black.
They're not going to do that. What they're going to say to you is basically, look, who is the best here? So they have their US Open, they have their UK Open, they have the Australian Open in every discipline, in every sport, and they pick the very best. So if we can go back to that merit system where we can pick the very best of Nigerians, let's restructure our sports commission, let's empower them, you know, and there are a lot of eggheads out there, very intelligent people who have studied sports administration, medicine. Sports medicine is a special discipline. We play with it here, you know, when it's about to go for tournaments, at times you find them bringing people from a regular hospital or whatever to, you know, that's not the way it should be. There are actually people who are versed in sports medicine in Nigeria. I've worked with a couple of them, and you find them looking at an athlete to say, and they're going to be experienced, they're going to go to the coach and say, that athlete is tired, let's take him out. But if you do not have that kind of expertise on your bench, and you look across to the team you're playing against, they have all of that, they're always going to beat you because they are tactically sound, they have everything in place. And we have it psychologically. You keep harping on the psychological.
Because you know what, and I agree with you. Because a sports reporter told me yesterday that they didn't take a psychologist to the championships in Beijing. And of course, imagine what a psychologist would have done with Blessing after she lost the 100 meters race. Imagine someone going to that place with all confidence saying that, oh, it's me and Fraser Price. I'm going to compete with her. And then she saw Fraser Price in front while she won from the rear. And then she's still looking to play, to run another race with the same set of women. Psychologically, we should be balanced. Yeah,
well, I agree with you. But according to them, the official statement is that she pulled an hamstring and all of that.
Official statement.
Yeah, so let's go with the official statement and agree that Blessing actually pulled an hamstring.
But nobody's blaming the Blessing Okagwere. In fact, no. People are feeling for her because they know that is quite a bigger responsibility she has to impress millions of Nigerians, and they even loved her more, really. At the point where she apologized, we even discussed it here, after she lost the 100 meters race, she apologized to Nigerians that she was going to do them proud in the 200 meters race. For the first time, really, a Nigerian admitting fault and then apologizing to do better.
I actually opened by saying that we need to cut her some slack, and I'm still going to repeat that. After having worked closely with sports people, athletes, footballers, boxers, you see there's always a story behind the story, and that's why we keep saying it. We've had Nigerian teams who have gone out to represent us. Take the case of Taekwondo, for instance. We've had an athlete who actually went to represent Nigeria at a tournament, a World Championship in Dubai this year. She paid her way. She didn't go there to represent herself, she paid her way. So we know what people like Blessing are going through. And that's why we keep saying that we need to put structures in place. We need to attract funding. And the best way to attract funding is to put structures in place. Once corporate Nigeria says that these guys know what they're doing with their money, they will come. You know, and once we can get money from corporate Nigeria, you know, then we can allow government focus on other things. And you know, with all these billions and millions that you're getting from government would be at a minimal. At some point, you don't need money from them. Like we keep saying, take the case of 10. I know we're really focusing on athletics, but we're looking at Nigerian sports in a broad spectrum. So we take a case of tennis. At some point in time, we had the Dala hard courts, we had the Ogbe hard courts, you know, we had the clay court tournaments. We had all those tournaments where even athletes were tennis players were coming from outside. Nigeria to come and compete. They come here to get their points. You know, take the case of golf. We had one of the best golfers that ever came out of Africa. He was always coming to Nigeria to play. You know, so we had all of that way back in the 70s and the 80s. We had all of that. And because we had those tournaments, we had those competitions, our athletes were competing with the best in the world. That's why they will go out and do well. It's that simple. That's why you would find us in the 70s, Nigerian teams were doing very well on the continent in the 80s.
Because they were training or competing with the best.
But
now even Nigerian teams are competing with the lesser teams.
But now all those tournaments are gone.
Or rivals.
They're not there anymore. And if they're not there, so what it means is that you're going to have an athlete, say for instance, you have the next tournament that Nigeria is looking at is Rio 2006. And what is he going to be doing in between that time? He's just going to be going to the stadium on a daily and running with his colleagues and all of that. Well, he should actually have a plan that would peak at Rio, you know. So we know that people like Blessing are actually one of the lucky ones who have had support from their own people,
because
you know.
She performed well.
Yeah,
that's why she was even able to get to the attention of the state
And then there are a lot of Blessing Okagbares out there. There are a lot of them. As we speak, Doreen Amata has made it to the final of the long jump. Nobody is really talking about Doreen, you know.
That's the female athletes.
Yeah.
But what about even the male athletes? Nigeria has no one.
Let me be honest with you, and people might not like to hear this. Female athletes in Nigeria have always been the best. They've always performed better than the men. Compare the Super Falcons and the Super Eagles. The Super Falcons are 7 times African champions or so. The Super Eagles have only won twice in Africa. Right?
Thrice.
Oh,
thrice.
No, now it's 3, yeah, with Keshi's victory. So how successful have the men been? Take a look at athletics, like we said, Chioma Ajunwa, individual gold. The only gold that the men got was relay, and it was by default because the US team was disqualified for doping and all of that. So really and truly, our women have always been better than us. And they don't get the kind of treatment that they should get.
The support.
So imagine if we had a special program geared towards enhancing sports, regardless of gender, but giving our women a little bit more push. You'll be shocked at what we will get. That is the truth. But they don't have that. Same way we look at our disabled athletes, our special sports, Paralympians and all that, and they don't get the support. But when it comes to medals, it's their medals that actually pushes up Nigeria up the table, you know, because since the IOC have allowed those medals to be counted and you go to a particular tournament that is mixed, you find out that, where did you get the bulk of your medals from? You know, it's from powerlifting, you know, it's from all the other special sports things. So reason why is because we do not have a structure. We just go, we're just whinging, we're just making up the rules as we go. While if we go back to the basics, you will know that when you have a structure, in your sports commission, there's a department for performance, there's a department for this and that, and you put people, you know, who have a scientific approach to this. You know, the Egyptians have gone to the next level. They've actually even started checking their athletes, and they've seen that some particular people with a certain type of blood in their system perform better in a certain kind of sport. As it is scientific. I'm in touch with the African volleyball body, CAVB, and I noticed one thing. Every month, there's a training for referees, there's a training for coaches in virtually every other African country but Nigeria. In the past 2 years, have not gotten anything about Nigeria, but Rwanda is doing it, Burundi is doing it, Kenya is doing it. Where's Nigeria on this? So I actually asked the guy. And then when it's time for any big competition, you wish for the best and then take those that are ready to go. That's the thing. Send them on the way. We have IB calling us from Ghana. Thank you for your time on the program. Go ahead.
Good morning, the anchor and the gentleman. But Nigerian system of
IB, apologies, I'll have to end your call. We didn't hear anything from what you were saying. Please reduce the volume of your TV set and then call back. We'll pick your call. It wouldn't be nice for you to just waste your call credits from all the way from Ghana. Thank you for calling. Reduce the volume of your TV set and then call back so you can engage in healthy contribution on the program and, of course, on the topic we are discussing at this time. Now, it's the same problem Nigeria has in weightlifting. There was a time that Nigeria always racks up some medals in weightlifting as well as boxing.
Boxing,
now,
weightlifting, taekwondo, boxing, weightlifting, taekwondo, table tennis, and wrestling.
To an extent, really. Table tennis, when we had the Segun Toriola that is now retired, so we kind of depend.
Segun is actually still going at it.
yeah, but he's an old man, really.
Yeah, but we have to build more.
You have to build more people. And then the Nigerian mentality, really, isn't the problem with us? Because I saw I think the coach of the Super Eagles goalkeeper talking on the news day before yesterday when they asked him about Vincent Nyama, was saying that Vincent Nyama will continue to keep for Nigeria the Super Eagles until God says it was time for him to leave. And then it was sure that when the time was right for him to leave, that it was sure definitely Nigeria would have another goalkeeper. That kind of statement, really, is even supposed to come from a sports professional.
At some point in time in this country, we had our marathon tournaments, taking place in different parts of Nigeria, Then we came with the half marathons. Where are they? They're all gone, He talked about golf, and if Tiger Woods didn't get exposed at that age, but in Nigeria, golf is strictly elitist. But in America and places like that, you can actually get to play golf. You don't need to be a billionaire to play golf, That's what it is. So what we need to do, like I've been saying, is to go back to the basics. Facilities. We need to have a structure where in your community, in your local community, that has a couple of streets, there should be a sports center where people can go play basketball, play football, and all these other sports. And from there, talents can be discovered. Then at the state level, that's why I want to commend Lagos State. They came up with the concept of the Lagos Classics, where about 13 sports have tournaments every month, and it's beautiful. Look at the table tennis classics now. It's attracting the best from Africa. A couple of people are coming in from Europe. The Governor's Cup has been running for years, It's bringing in some talent and is allowing our own talents to also get exposed and compete, Table Tennis Federation are doing very well. You talked about Segun Toriola.
We have a new coach now.
Yes, they got a coach. Although I think it's a little bit too last minute, but I'm hoping that
just
it's
like they
for
did in
real.
Basketball, but funny enough, the J Tigers are doing well as well. Always last minute.
But if you check out the makeup of D Tigers, you find out that it's a foreign-based team, And so what's
but in the past as well, they were struggling regardless of the fact that
that's what we're still saying, that if we
still
can
depend on those from out there.
If we can develop the ones here, that would get to do very, very well. So one of the things is facilities must get back on track. Let's go fix our facilities, and our stadiums should be open to athletes. Let them come in and train. And
of course, joining us at this time is one of Nigeria's gold medalists in long jump. If you remember Atlanta 1996 quite well, the glory days for Team Nigeria, really, when you're talking about this athletics laurels for the country. And then, of course, that Madam Chioma Ajunwa, rather, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're an inspiration to many athletes I know in Nigeria, and of course to many women as well, as a strong woman, and of course a sports icon. Should I say Sean? Because of course you're a police officer. For those that don't know, you're also a police officer now. So how do you feel? Because practically after Atlanta 1996, it seemed as though Nigerian sports in athletics, indoor and outdoor events nosedived.
Well, I'm not happy, and I believe that every loving Nigeria that loves sports, they are not happy as well. But then, what can we do? Because there's this adage that always say that as you make your bed, so shall you lie on it. I believe that Nigeria should have learned their lesson by now. But we always said, oh, don't worry, we're going to do it right. But I believe one day God will help us to do it right. But then don't forget that if somebody is into business, the investment, the level of investment you made is where you'll be expecting the profit you're going to have. If you are into business, you are not investing, definitely you're not going to get any profit. I think that is one of the problems we are having in Nigerian sports. The only time Nigeria will start laughing again is when we realize the importance of going to the grassroots. Because that was what brought somebody like me in the limelight. You know, in those days, we used to have interlocal government competitions. Then from there, you come to state. From state, you come to national. And then, all the whole sports councils in Nigeria, they were functional. If sports councils were functional, as at the time, they were not giving all these states will get billion as their take home. And now that oil is everywhere, they are giving them a lot of money. Why is sports councils not functional? Because we thought sports can't do us anything. We can't get anywhere with sports. Forgetting that sports is the only language every word speak and we hear each other. So I believe that when government were shouting change, change, I believe General Buhari is our president now. He ought to urge them to go back to the grassroots. Start doing it right. If you know what you've been doing in those days, we have thousands and one of them athletes. When you go to Europe, we go to Grand Prix, you see more than 15, 20 Nigerian athletes wearing Nigerian colors, while our American counterparts will be quaffing us and said, this is not Nigerian championship, just because we are so many. I could remember sometimes when we go to Grand Prix, about 4 of us, 5 of us will be in the finals. You know, and it's all green, white, green colors. Maybe you see about 3 other colors. You know, that is the only time we'll know that, yes, we've gotten it right. But right now, we are chasing shadows. In a country that when you're going to championship, you only have 2 athletes that you hope on. And at the same time,
even local athletes.
Yes, and at the same time, when you get there, you know, pressure is going to be too much on those 2 athletes. Tell me how they will win. Sports is all about mind, psychological, you know.
Now you get what I was saying.
No, you would. I was always agreeing with you, and I'm happy that Chioma is saying all these things. She wasn't watching us, and she's saying everything that we have discussed already.
Indeed.
That is it. Because I was there, I know all it's all about. So that is why I'm not here to preach about my foundation, but I know somebody that I have the love can start doing something. Nigeria has this problem because we don't have a place where we can keep these athletes and start grooming them. We built Games Village and we sold it. And when you get these athletes, you don't have a place to put them, to start, you know, training them.
Constant training.
These athletes, there's no way you can get the best of athletes in the whole world without them being trained by somebody, some professional hands.
Now, does Nigeria even have, or do these Nigerian athletes have quality trainers? Because we hear every time that
we don't have it.
The athletes have to travel out of the country if they want quality themselves.
They tell them, oh, you go and train yourself. And it's not going to happen. It's not magic. Yeah. I tell you something. If an athlete goes to training, let's say this morning, I take my bag, I go to National Stadium, I start training. The moment I feel fatigue, I'm going to go to somewhere and sit down. True. And if that athlete has his or her coach there, by that time you feel fatigue, that is when you're going to gain the training. And the coach will force you to go further.
You know, just to support what you guys are saying, during the classics, the table tennis classics, the Egyptians came with about 7 coaches.
Good.
When Nigeria's Aruna Quadri was playing, his teammates...
All right, apologies, Shola. We'll still talk more about this. We have Olukayode Thomas joining us now from Beijing. He's the spokesman of Athletics Federation of Nigeria. Thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast. Now, first of all, the heart of many Nigerians broke when Blessing Okagbare couldn't compete in the finals of the 200 meters. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Actually, what happened was that during the warm-up, she was injured. So we invited our medical personnel and the IAAF medical personnel, and they took her for a scan. And after the scan, the doctors informed the coaches that it is advisable for her not to continue in the 200 meters. So we listened to the doctor advice and we withdrew her from the 200. It wasn't our decision; it was the federation's decision.
All right. So what can you tell us now about the performance of Team Nigeria in the IAAF outing so far? Nigerians are not happy.
Well, basically, the competition is ongoing. We are in the high jump final. We still have the relays. We've made some finals. Some athletes have done their personal best, and we hope that by the time we leave here, we'll achieve something. But let's not forget that in sports, sometimes what you plan for don't happen. So it's actually beyond you. But the athletes are hardworking, they are focused, and from what we have done here so far, we are sure that because this championship is our preparation for the All-African Games, we are sure that some of our athletes, they will make podium appearance at the Games.
All right, does AFN has a psychologist there with the athletes working with them for top performance?
We have a complete sports science team here in Beijing. Complete sports science team, not just psychologists. A complete team of sports scientists.
All right, including a psychologist, because I asked that question because many people have said that there is no psychologist. That is why some things are happening really that somehow it seems Nigerian athletes there are looking tense whenever they go out there to run or engage in any of their events. What really is wrong? Is it about the fear of being on the world stage?
You said Choma said what?
Is it about the pressure of being on the world stage?
Well, I don't know how you can measure somebody's passion from watching on the TV. But I know that the athletes here, they are passionate, they are hungry. They all know the importance of winning medal. One, it advances your career. You make more money. You make name. From here, you get money from shoe companies. So they are highly motivated. You see, it's not easy to you qualify. You see, it's not even easy to qualify to come here. You need to run. So if you are not motivated, if you are not hungry, you can't even be here.
All right, so
you can't even be here. It takes some level of performance for you to even get there in the first place.
So what's the promise now to Nigerians? Are you still confident that Team Nigeria will definitely shave some medals and bring them back home?
Well, you see, if I can tell you that Nigeria will win this medal or that medal, I wouldn't be in Beijing. I will be in Nigeria prophesizing and making money as a prophet. What I can tell you is that the athletes are focused, the coaches are working out with them, and we are in some finals, and in the final of track and field defense, like Choma herself can tell you, anything can happen. At the Athens 7th championship, World Championship in Athens, Choma was the best jumper in the world. And everybody believed that Choma will win the gold medal in Athens. But she got injured. So that's athletics. She's after she's there. She was the best jumper in the world in 1997 in the long jump. Nobody. She had the best of coaches, the Cuban judged by her. Everybody was around her. But she got injured. So that is the ugly side of track and field. You cannot predict the next minute.
All right.
Blessing coming to this place, she was top 3 in the world in the 100 meters. In the semi-final, she had the second fastest time. Joint second fastest time in the semi-final. But look at what happened in the final. So sport is unpredictable. You never can tell. But I can tell you, and I'm assuring you that the athletes, the coaches, everybody's working hard to ensure that we come up with medal.
All right.
But whether we are going to win or not is beyond anybody's control.
Okay, quickly now, what is the AFN doing really to get at least a male that can compete for Nigeria in the male category of track events?
I didn't get the question, ma.
No male for Nigeria in track events. When will Nigeria start having another fast runner for the country?
Well, you see, it's not about AFN, it's not about NLC, it's about us, Nigeria. What are the value that we put, what are the premium that we put on sports? We need to change our attitude to sports and stop seeing sports as something that we do as a ritual to win medal. We need to see sport as a business, as something that can change the life of our career, turn them to global icon, turn them to millionaire. Look at the basketball in the US. What will be the future of Black Americans without basketball? Let's have a sports industry in Nigeria. Let's have where people can run in Nigeria and make money. Let's have good classics. Let companies support us. Let the government support us. If government can intervene in education, in public health care, in so many areas, why not sports? Sports is also business. It's also like any other sector. So we need more investment from the government, from the private sector. Look at TVC is a TV station. It was Sky Sports, a TV station in UK that raised the standard of cycling in UK, and now they are top 10 in the world. Just a TV company, Sky. They changed the face of cycling in UK. So TVC too can adopt athletics. Say, look, we want to change the face of athletics in Nigeria and get to the next level. So it's effort of all of us, not just AFN or NLC or presidency or Lagos state government or Kwara or Ondo Ogun. It's all Nigeria. We must change the attitude to sports.
All right. Thank you very much, Olukayode Thomas, spokesman to AFN. Wish you, of course, Team Nigeria, rather, luck in the remaining games over there in IAAF Championships ongoing in Beijing, China. So, yes, still talking about the performance and then the morale of athletes to win. Do they get the total support they need to even perform? We talked about it.
I actually just wanted to round up what I was saying initially when Chairman raised a point. We had Aaron Okwadri, star player in the world, Nigeria's best table tennis player at the moment, and he was playing against an Egyptian. Behind him was his teammate from Portugal. Then he was still playing in Portugal. He was playing professional. His teammate came to sit down as his coach in Lagos, Nigeria. We saw it with our own eyes. It's not proper. That's not the way things should be done, you know. And that's what Chioma was saying, and that's what we see. As journalists, we see these things. There's so many things that you can't even come on air to say because at times people take it personal, you know, and like Kyle Thomas was saying, he assumed that Chioma was saying some stuff, and again, he probably didn't hear you well when you talked about pressure.
Indeed, he
and
thought
not
I was
passion,
saying something exactly.
You know, but it's okay. I think it was because over the phone and everything. We don't need to be on the defensive. We've been preferring solutions, and we've said it. You don't. Why would you beg people to come and help you? You're begging corporate Nigeria to help you. If you have something good enough, corporate Nigeria will come. That's what we're saying. You go and put your house in order. Make it attractive. Remember, I said it is gold that we have. Our athletes are one of the best in the world, always coming out tops if you give them the right conditions. So you go pick them up and let them work well. Games Village, no day. What's it called again? The real problem that I've always had is the facilities, you know. Go and look at the tartan tracks at the National Stadium.
Nothing to train
Thank God for Teslim Balogun across the road. That's where our athletes go now. Chioma can confirm. She can confirm this to you. You know, then even after we put things in place, we do not upgrade. We do not upgrade our trainers. We do not upgrade our facilities. We do not upgrade our athletes. How long are we going to keep doing this? Nobody is talking about just winning medals. I've been saying it here. Sports is big business. Big business. Nigeria will earn so much. As at 8 years ago, Brazil exported to the world over 900 players. Now, if 900 players repatriate some money to their families, do you know how much that is? You know, the Western Union people keep telling how much Nigerians send home. So imagine how many of them are sports people. And if you can put more people out there on the global stage, you're going to earn Forex for Nigeria. You know, it is big business. Take the case of the people who will be manufacturing the souvenirs that people will be buying. Take the case of the athletes who will be sending money home. You know, there's a whole lot of things that we need to put in place. So sports is big business, but government keeps treating it like some form of a place where you want to settle something for the boys. You know, you pick up some minister from somewhere and make him minister of sports, and he doesn't know anything about sports. So he starts to learn from people. It's the way they push him, you know. But let's have the people who have done the game before, who have competed as athletes.
Is it possible now, looking forward, for Nigeria to still have the Atlanta 1996 experience, or even a better one?
Well, we can still have it. There's no doubt in that. Only when we put our house in order. You know, holistically, when you look at the way things are going in sports, if we continue in this manner, I don't think we can ever get the Olympic gold. Because right now, the only person we have is Blessing Okagwari. And don't forget, Blessing is now married. And the way things are going, an athlete will be going to international competition and there's nothing for them. They don't even know if their camping allowances will be paid to them. And if I were the husband, I would say, okay, you know, some of our footballers sometimes, they will say, okay, I've retired from
national football. Club football.
Then they face their club football because that is where they make their money. So why should I be representing my country? At the end of the day, I get to a big competition, then you don't pay me allowance.
But your caller said she should be grateful for even representing Nigeria.
That is not true. That is not true. You know, we need to be truthful to ourselves. These athletes are doing us proud. And if you go around the athletes that are there now competing, no child is from a big man in Nigeria. They are from, you know, less privileged homes. And don't forget that these athletes are the breadwinners of their families. And as a matter of fact, they need that money. They need that support. And we need to support them. We need to motivate them. And we are talking about Blessing didn't win, Blessing didn't win. How could you win when the mind is not good? How could you win when you are not happy? You know, because I was reliably informed that this athlete went to Beijing without any dime. And the officials themselves were not equally happy. At least you have your family. Everybody is, you know, it's a big risk.
I wish you had told me that so I could throw the question to...
It's a big risk. It's a big risk. You know, sometimes I'm a kind of person that sometimes I don't like to come to television program because as an athlete, I need to hit it where it is. But that's my problem. Maybe with the people in the helm of affairs, because Choma will talk. You understand? I was there. I know how many championships I went for that I was not given any dime. And these people running, there's no tracksuit, nothing. So how will they be happy? It's a big risk whether we like it or not. Actually, they are representing their families themselves. But don't forget that if there is a big competition like this and there's no Nigeria, it's a shame to us. Some people must be there to represent us. Sure. So, and these athletes took it upon themselves to represent Nigeria. And I believe that it is their right to be motivated. It is their right to be given to whatever thing that is due for them. Don't forget, we are hearing plane crash all over. It's a big risk. You entering an aircraft to go in far journey to China, and at the end of the day, you want them to say, "Oh, thank you very much." And next time,
and most usually after the championship,
you understand me? It is not good. Let us face the fact. I believe our president is hearing now that he's just coming. He need to take it upon himself, you know, to recreate the way a manner sports is being run in the past. So whenever they are going to competition, let him try to improve the athletes' allowances in time. Let it not be that, oh, we are going today and up to this morning there is nothing, and now they'll be running helter-skelter. All this panic approach towards preparation of sports is what is hampering the athlete performance.
All right, Shola, lastly as well, do you see better days coming?
Yes, I do, actually, because based on some of the things that we've heard, you know, from Grapevine, since it's not official, we can't go on air to talk about it. But from the things that we've heard, the failures we're getting from Abuja and Lagos, it's looking like, yes, better days are ahead. What we need, I keep repeating, we don't need a Minister of Sports anymore. We don't need that. Let's keep the structure of the National Sports Commission. We have someone who was a former athlete in place now, so who understands the way things should be run. But let us also now build our sports. Let's empower all the liaison officers. It's not only about managing facilities now. It's about developing talent, discovering talent, and harnessing them and pushing them to the next level. I see better days ahead, but we need to plan for the next Olympics, not Rio 2006. So we need to plan for the, that's what, let's have these long-term goals, you know. When you pick up a 12-year-old now, and you nurture him for 4 years, imagine what's going to happen.
Like
and the average Nigerian, you know the reason why we win things, the reason why Choma won in Atlanta was not anything other than the fact that the will to succeed. You know, the average Nigerian has that drive. They always bring out the best of them.
And I hear that there's a sports department somehow in almost all the security operatives establishments in Nigeria, the police. I don't know if it's still
they used to be very strong. There was a time they even had the Olympics, and they had the police games.
And they are very good.
They had the police games, and I thought it was going to be a continuous thing.
No, they don't anymore.
They don't.
Because they had many boxers from the military then.
Marathon runners, the days when we had the marathon, the winners were always from the police or from the Nigerian army and all of that. We need to get back to that because all those things are gone. We need to get them back.
All right. Shola Rogers, sports journalist from newfanzone.com. Thank you for your time and your analysis on the show. And of course, Choma Ajunwa, thank you very much. Olympic gold medalist. Thank you for coming into the studios.
God bless Nigeria.